मैं ये साबित करूंगा कि ये वो आदमी था और इसके साथ एक पूरा टोला है। और इसके साथ कौन है वो भी सब कौम को पता है। आज सोशल मीडिया के जमाने में सबको पता है वो कौन है। सवाल मेरा ये है कि क्या एक मुल्क का एक्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर, क्योंकि इस आदमी का नाम आ गया, मैं अपना FIR नहीं कटवा सका? पता तो सच और झूठ तब चले जब इन्वेस्टिगेशन होती, FIR इसके खिलाफ होती, इन्वेस्टिगेशन होती। अगर ये बेकसूर था सामने आ जाना था। इतना ताकतवर शख्सियत कि मैं एक्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर, अपनी पंजाब की हुकूमत होते हुए हम इन्वेस्टिगेशन FIR में इसका नाम नहीं दे सके।
Now, just around the time that Imran Khan was picked up by the Pak Rangers, Pak Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif reacted to the entire aspect on Twitter. He'd had a 4-point long post where largely the aspects were that Imran Khan cannot deny the vicious attacks on institutions introduced by his own politics. He defamed the Pakistani army as an institution again and again. That was the second charge. The third charge was he boycotted federal government's offer of cooperation. And the fourth charge was he launched a dirty campaign against the chopper crash martyrs. And the fifth charge that he raised was he used religion for political purposes, where he openly said, you are the one who used to introduce religious terms in their political activities. And it should be clear as day, as former Prime Minister facing ongoing corruption trial, you want the legal and political system to be disrupted. In your knowledge, Pakistan has become a jungle, so I would advise you not to go there because the facts are often bitter and destructive. Leave it for another day. That's where he ended. On that note, we end this edition of The Right Stand, making way for Brass Tacks with Zaka. Stay with us.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. The Kerala story is already a box office success. It's made close to 50 crores in the 4 days since its release. But it has also stirred a hornet's nest, with some people accusing the film of painting an entire community or an entire state in demonic fashion. So much so, Bengal has now banned the film. In Tamil Nadu, exhibitors are not showing the movie, and in Kerala, the movie is not making any waves. But the larger question is, while this legal battle will continue, the makers of this film have approached the Supreme Court. In this day and age of OTTs, does a ban work?
लोग इसको देखें और समझें कि हिंदुस्तान के दूसरे भूभाग में किस ढंग से हमारी बहनों के साथ अत्याचार अनाचार हो रहा है, दुर्व्यवहार हो रहा है, और सतर्कता बढ़ते हुए अपने परिवार को, अपने संस्कारों को, अपने बच्चों को संभालें।
Be it an election in the state or central election, they become more proactive in playing this religion card and divisive politics. Especially when the Karnataka election is about to be taken place.
We are not ready to show the reality. When a filmmaker comes out and says that 32 women have gone, and then comes on like a shameless fellow says that it is only 3. The controversy which has been created has created hatred, and that is what we all are facing.
I am not able to understand that for 3.5 days, if the film has done successfully and peacefully and people have loved it and emotionally connected with it on such a big level, then I don't understand how suddenly it has become a law and order disturbance.
I think it is a politically motivated, misguided decision. I request Mamata Didi that please watch the film and decide for yourself that whether this film is may pose any law and order.
So the storm over the Kerala story is not dying down. In fact, it's now moved to the highest court of the land after the West Bengal government banned the movie because they wanted to avoid any law and order incident. The filmmakers have now moved to Supreme Court challenging the ban in Bengal. Their plea also challenged the de facto ban that was imposed in Tamil Nadu. Multiplexes in Tamil Nadu have stopped screening the film after protests in a few cities. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has also agreed to hear an appeal filed against the Kerala High Court's refusal to stay the screening of the film. NCP leader and former Maharashtra Minister Jitendra Awad waded into the controversy by demanding that the producer of the film be hanged in public. Awad called it a fictional movie and claimed that it was defaming the women of Kerala by first alleging that more than 30,000 had converted into Islam and had been recruited into ISIS. Meanwhile, the picture is starkly different in BJP-ruled states. The film was declared tax-free in Uttar Pradesh. UP now becomes the second state after Madhya Pradesh to make this tax-free. Several BJP ministers have watched the movie. They've endorsed it. Even the Prime Minister has referred to the movie while campaigning in Karnataka last week. First, I want to go across to the lead actor of this film, Ada Sharma. She's the lead of the Kerala story. She's now joining us. Thank you very much, Ada, for speaking with us. First things first, the reception. How has it been to your movie? Many seem to have welcomed the movie and your performance in it in particular, but a lot of people have also criticized the movie. How do you see the response over the first 3 days?
So I think that the response is phenomenal. The support and love we are getting is really unprecedented. It's amazing also because when we were promoting this film, a lot of people were asking us questions about statistics and numbers. And I kept saying, it's about human lives and it's about the pain of girls. And I was telling everyone, once you watch the film, I think the emotion is going to connect and you're going to understand the pain, and a number is not going to, that statistic is not going to be your concern when you leave the film. However, even that has been answered in the film for those who've seen it. So I think people who saw it, they got all their questions answered. Even some people who were kind of against it in the start and said how when they watched the film, they got all their answers from the numbers to lives. They felt sympathy for girls being drugged, manipulated, and they're given those Captagon and amphetamine drugs and sent off, brainwashed, indoctrinated. So I think the audience has really been very supportive.
But how do you then see the decision by the Bengal government to ban the Kerala story? The Chief Minister there yesterday in a press conference saying that this could potentially lead to law and order problems and therefore the decision to ban. What would you say to that?
As far as the ban, our film it was screened by the censor board, the very respected censor board who screens each film. And they are the authority. They have a whole jury who sits and screens everything, checks facts. They asked us for a lot of facts to prove that things actually happened, this, that. So all of that was done, and then only was our film passed. Even after that, when it went back, it went to the Supreme Court, then it went to the High Court, then came back to the Supreme Court. So it did all the rounds of everything. And I think after the Court of Law has okayed it and the censor board has okayed it, and your Prime Minister of the country has even said that it's a film that's against terrorism, then I find the ban really unfair.
One final word, and again, a lot of people have been criticizing this film, saying it broad brushes one entire community, it's demonizing one entire community, it's demonizing an entire state. How do you respond to that?
I don't think anyone who's watched the film has said that. I think people who've said that have said it before they've watched the film. So I would request them to really watch the film. I'm sure once they watch it, they realize it's against terrorism and then be on our side, because they'd be like, let's fight terrorism. Because I don't think anyone in our country is standing for terrorism.
Okay.
So once they watch it, they will be on our side. Then we can all fight terrorism together. The stronger we are, the better. Also, our country is a democratic country, and it's really nice that we can all have our opinions. And putting out our creativity was, well, even after it's being screened by the censor board, once it's out there, I find it really strange that then you can ban a film that was running and everything was fine. I think there was some 400 shows or something that were there, and there was no problem. Everything was going absolutely fine, and the ban was suddenly called. So I do not really understand.
All right. Ada Sharma, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this plays out politically as well as, of course, in the courts of law. The filmmakers have moved to Supreme Court asking for the ban in Bengal to be overturned. Let me now open this up to our panelists. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Member of Parliament of the BJP, is joining us. Dr. Shantanu Sen, Member of Parliament of the Trinamool Congress, will also be joining us, and in some time we'll also be going across to Sudhir Mishra, veteran film director. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, let me start with you first. The contention that was made by the Bengal Chief Minister yesterday when she announced the ban on the Kerala story was that it has the potential to create law and order problems. She says law and order is a state subject. It is up to the state governments to decide on whether a book or a movie or any work of art will lead potentially to a law and order problem, and therefore the state has decided to ban this film. It's above the remit of the censor board.
If the Chief Minister of West Bengal has said this, so it is nothing but an acceptance of the truth that the law and order is so feeble, so weak, and so dithering in West Bengal that all the Indian states can have this thing without having any sensitivity on the law and order issue, but only it is the West Bengal. So I think this is a candid acceptance of their incompetence by none other than the Chief Minister of West Bengal. Second thing, how come a movie related to terrorism becomes a law and order issue? This is, we are unable to understand. Third thing, in Kerala they have not said that this is a law and order issue. They are making a communal allegation. But how come in Bengal it becomes a law and order issue? So I think on this issue, the government of West Bengal should make it clear. This is the technical aspect which I have said. But on the political and moral aspect, I would like to say, the utter disrespect to Islam is being done by these people. The problem is, they always try to connect the entire Muslim community with only to the criminals and the terrorists. They never try to connect them with the good people in their community. You remember in West Bengal, there was an incident in which a mob has attacked an hospital and severely injured a doctor. Then the certain Muslim intellectuals have written to Mamata Banerjee, it's around 2 or 3 years back incident, that don't connect entire community of us to the goons which have done this type of unlawful act in any hospital.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it is very easy, because there is a phrase that it is very easy to rise from extreme in politics, to take a support of the extremist element and get a support and then do it, and there is no problem. So nothing but on political and moral aspect, a blatant and shameful support to not only to the criminal and extremist element, but tacitly even to giving a fig leaf cover of communal politics to those who are involved in the terrorist sector.
So let me ask Dr. Shantanu Sen, Member of Parliament of the TMC. You know, I had the filmmaker Vipul Shah on the show yesterday, and he said normally when states want to ban a film, it's before the film releases. In this case, the film released on Friday. It ran in theatres in Bengal, including in Kolkata, on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. There was no instance of violence. There was no instance of any law and order situation. And then on Monday, the Chief Minister says we're going to ban the film because it could potentially lead to a law and order situation. How does that make any logical sense? Dr. Sen.
First of all, let me tell you the fact. Whenever there is any election knocking the door, as BJP cannot play with the developmental issues, because in that field they are much behind. They always play this divisive politics and religion card. You must recall what Satyapal Malik has said, that is because of utter failure of Narendra Modi government, 40 soldiers were literally killed in Pulwama incident. You must recall the incident of Kashmir file. You just tell me, in this Kerala file, it has been portrayed that 32,000 ladies, they were missing after they were forcefully converted. But no such evidence has been given. It is absolutely a distorted story, distorted fact. And so far this banning is concerned, let me cite you some example how many movies this BJP government has banned. Sarak, My Name is Khan, and so on and so many. When this BBC said something against Mr. Narendra Modi, what did they do with BJP, with BBC? Why they discontinued the subscription for PTI? My humble submission to Mr. BJP spokesperson, can't you recall when Narendra Modi was giving speech in Rajya Sabha, and the oppositions were showing protest unitedly, even immediately you censored the Rajya Sabha TV as well. Now, in the freedom of speech index out of 180 countries, India ranks 162. It's a matter of great shame.
No, but
BJP
Dr. Shantanu Sen, precisely because of all of those reasons, you should not ban the film. You should allow the film to be exhibited. By banning the film, how are you showing you are any different from the BJP as per your own argument?
Why there was Kashmir file just to demean the people of Kashmir at large? Why there was this Kerala file just to spread a false message before this Karnataka election, which is absolutely false incident they are showing. You just tell me few promoted and few sponsored actors and actresses, they are coming to Bengal to prepare Bengal file.
Okay.
Because BJP believes in divisive politics. BJP believes in politics with the help of religion and caste and creed.
Okay, so let me ask Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
Which people of Bengal cannot allow.
Okay, the point that Dr. Shantanu Sen is making is this is being done at the behest of the BJP. BJP wants to fight election on divisive issues. It cannot fight on development narrative, and therefore, you know, you're propping up movies which are obviously Hindu-Muslim in nature to try and reap political benefits out of it.
Jakka, first of all, I would like to say Dr. Shantanu Sen is a learned member of parliament. What you are speaking, sir? First, I would like to say, how come a regional party of West Bengal has to do something in Kerala? I'm unable to understand. By which logic you are saying that a movie related to Kerala, you are having any locus standi to say when you cannot even have a 1,000 vote in Kerala? Now, on that issue that you are saying false, sir, I would like to remind, this is not a false story. V.S. Achyutanandan, the Chief Minister of Kerala, who was from Communist Party, not from BJP, he had said the word love jihad. He had said the manner in which the things are going on. In 20 years, Kerala may become a Muslim state. This is the statement of the Chief Minister of Kerala, that too from the Communist Party. And second thing, it's not a haywire thing. The Kerala STF has studied 5,000 cases and they have submitted a report to the Kerala High Court. And they said that the cases doesn't seem to be the usual love affair cases. It seems to be a structured design decided by SIMI, Student for Islamic Movement in India in 1995, that the middle class and upper middle class girls of Christians and Hindu community is to be targeted. And that is mentioned in the Supreme Court of Kerala proceeding, I am quoting the date, 9th of December 2009, point number 16. The court has said that if some sections of society are saying Romeo jihad and love jihad, this is word used by Kerala High Court, and you are saying it's a flimsy. If the Chief Minister is saying that in 20 years the state can convert into an Islamic state, it means 30,000 is a very small figure.
Okay.
By 30,000 the state cannot be converted into one thing. And not only this, the Archbishop, 2 archbishops have used the word that how the Christian girls are being converted by the Islamic fundamentalists, and Archbishop has used this word of jihad. Sir, कुछ भी पता नहीं होता है, ऐसे ही आके कुछ भी बोलने लगता,
Dr. Shantanu,
and then saying the fictional this and that, I think this is not correct.
Dr. Shantanu
Any of the viewers can verify what I am saying going on the internet.
Dr. Shantanu Sen, when V.S. Achyutanandan was Chief Minister, Communist Chief Minister, in the Assembly he gave a list of 100 people who had been forcibly converted. When Umanjandi, the following Chief Minister, Congress Chief Minister, he gave a list of number of girls who were forcibly converted, including a list of those who had gone to Syria and Iraq forcibly to fight for ISIS. You have the Catholic Bishop Conference of Kerala coming up with the term economic jihad. A High Court judge in the Hadia case first came up with the term love jihad. Point is that if the Kerala story is supposedly demeaning Kerala or demeaning a community in Kerala, it's not banned in Kerala, but it's banned in Bengal. What sense does that make? Dr. Sen.
Prior to that, let me ask my BJP colleague, what has happened in reality in Gujarat? 40,000 women, they are missing in last 5 years. What about that? You just tell me All India Trinamool Congress doesn't think for the people of the Bengal only. It has got every right to think for the people of other parts of the country as well, who are being victimized by Bharatiya Janata Party regime. You just tell me the jury of Indian International Film Festival, he himself has said that Kashmir File was nothing but a propaganda movie. Can you deny it? The problem is nowadays nobody says that PM stands for Prime Minister. The youngsters, the students, they often say that nowadays PM stands for Publicity Master. Whenever there is an election, our learned Prime Minister becomes a daily passenger for that particular state, especially in the case of opposition ruled states, and he starts spreading this message of hatred. In Karnataka, he is saying Tugre gang. They have distributed 2.5 crore Hanuman Chalisa. They are comparing Bajrang Dal with Bajrang Bali. These all indicate that BJP is only busy doing politics with religion and caste and creed.
Okay.
That is their basic culture, because they know if they are questioned regarding development, they don't have any
Okay,
answer.
so you are once again, taking the political line of argument, but let me also bring in a filmmaker's view on this. Veteran film director Sudhir Mishra is now joining us. He's also been at the receiving end of censorship and things like that. Mr. Mishra, first things first, I don't know if you've seen the Kerala story. You may or may not agree with the premise or the subject of that movie, but now we have word that the West Bengal government has decided to ban it. In Tamil Nadu, multiplex owners are refusing to screen it. The question is, as a filmmaker who has faced and who has been at the receiving end of such threats and boycotts and bans in the past, what is your reading, what is your response to this decision of the Bengal government to ban the screening of the Kerala story?
Never have I even vaguely thought that anything should be banned. So many years ago, when there was a play called Me Nathuram Godse and I Adore Gandhi, but when there was calls to ban it, I said, it should be banned, and I often spoke in support of it. Just the other day, Vivek Agnihotri and I did a podcast together where we spoke that my wish, my desires, my films, my views, everything is different, but we can have a conversation and maybe we can affect each other in some way. So I've done a conversation with Kashmir. I've just made a film called Afwah, which a lot of people say is the contrary, the answer to these films. But these are just viewpoints, and I've made a film, and I hope that sort of people see it and react to it, and not necessarily like it, but get provoked by it. Maybe suggest some things to them. That's what that's what I believe, and that's what cinema should do.
But Mr. Mishra, oftentimes, not just in the case of the Bengal government, which decided to ban this movie yesterday, but oftentimes whenever the state decides to ban a film or a book, it cites law and order problems. And at the end of the day, filmmakers don't have to worry about, the potential violence that their work of art creates. That is the worry of the state. And that is the sole concern of the state. And if the state feels that this could lead to law and order problems, then it's within the remit of the state to decide whether or not to ban a movie. That's the argument that the Chief Minister of Bengal put forth. How do you respond to that?
No. Many years ago, Tamas was banned, so-called on Doordarshan, and the same thing was cited. But then was Justice Linton saw it and then cleared it, and no law and order situation is created as a result of people watching Tamas. I don't think people create a law and order situation.
Okay. So,
you know better who does.
Sure. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Dr. Sen also made this point. I think yesterday his colleague Babul Supriyo was also on the show. He also made this point that isn't it double standards of the BJP when you're attacking Mamata Banerjee for banning this film? But what happened to the BBC documentary? Unofficially, that was also taken down from all online platforms. So you can't have two different standards.
There are two things. Sir, BBC was a documentary and this is a movie. Documentary by name itself says that this is a fact. This is presentation of the fact. And all facts have been duly rejected by none other than the highest court of this country. And everything has finished after 20 years. You are trying to put forth that the entire political system, the entire legislative system, judicial system of the India was wrong. You are trying to put a mockery on it by putting it as a documentary, I think it is to be banned. And those who are putting question, I would like to remind during Indira Gandhi's era, BBC was not banned. ताला लगा दिया था और जो इंग्लैंड के थे उनको इंग्लैंड भेज दिया था वापस. बिल्कुल, put a lock on BBC office. And then they are asking about those things. But one thing, you have seen that I have put so many facts on Kerala. But Dr. Shantanu Sen has totally changed the goalpost. मतलब ये वो वाली बात हो गई कि मोहल्ले में क्रिकेट खेलते ना तो लगे आउट होने वाले तो विकेट नहीं कहीं भाग जाओ. टॉपिक ही बदल दिया. चलिए मैं उस टॉपिक पे भी आपको जवाब देने को तैयार हूं. ऐसा नहीं है सर. मुझे दुख इस बात का होता है. It is a Bengal which was a leader in the creative cinema. You know that only one lifetime Oscar award which India has gone, it has gone to Satyajit Ray. The Time magazine has given, after completing 100 years of the world cinema, they have selected 100 best movies of the world without ranking. And out of those 100 movies, 4 were the Indians. And out of that 4 Indians, 2 were the Bengali movies. One was Pather Panchali, another was other. And the great tradition from Satyajit Ray to D.K. Dev Kumar Bose to Rishikesh Mukherjee. And now the Bengali Bhadralok people has gone to that state that you are saying it should be banned despite the fact it is not banned in that home state. That shows that what pathetic level under the TMC rule they have brought the Bengal and its creative talent.
Okay.
That is my one submission. And again I would like to say they do not have a courage to put forth on any one thing. You remember in Malda there was the incidents. Then Mithilesh Tiwari, he was already arrested. In UP, he was in jail. And in Malda, the mob has gherao a police chowki and they say that they want that person to be here in present and they will do the justice. And not even a single thing has been done by Trinamool Congress. And then they say that was not a law and order problem. Now here is an imaginary law and order problem is creating. I think the people of the Bengal and the people of the country.
Can I ask Dr. Sen, you know, from the land of Ray, the land of Ghatak, the land of Rishikesh Mukherjee, and may I also remind you what Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said when the whole Padmavat controversy was happening. As you remember, Dr. Sen, at that time, there were sections in Rajasthan who wanted this movie to be banned. She said, and I quote, if they cannot release Padmavat in any other state, we will give it special arrangement in Bengal. Bengal will be happy and proud to do that. Now, isn't this again double standards, Dr. Sen, where on the one hand, when Hindu groups are protesting against a movie, Mamata Banerjee is welcoming it. But here, when Muslim groups are protesting against another movie, she goes ahead and bans.
Well, it's really good to see that Sudhanshu Trivedi and his party is so much scared of the regional party, according to him, All India Trinamool Congress. I would like to ask one question with all humility. Why this particular movie was made amusement tax-free in BJP-ruled Madhya Pradesh? Number one, yes, you have correctly mentioned that West Bengal happens to be the cultural capital of India. And that's why we cannot allow you to spoil this culture of West Bengal by your black hands of BJP. That's why you are protesting. Another important input, just to remind you, there was one famous singer who was boycotted in other BJP-ruled state to perform. It's Mamata Banerjee who arranged for the same, and so that after that, that particular performer could perform in our state of West Bengal. It proves West Bengal is a place where the dovetailing of religion exists. And BJP is trying to ruin this culture of India. That's why sometimes they are preparing Kashmir file, sometimes they are preparing Kerala story. Now they are in a mood to prepare Bengal story by bringing some BJP-sponsored actors and actresses. But
No,
West Bengal
I wanted to ask you about that as well.
They won't allow BJP to do this.
I wanted to ask you about that as well because today filmmaker Vivek Agnihotri has put on Twitter that he is issuing a legal notice to Mamata Banerjee because you are afraid that in his upcoming movie, which by the way is not called Bengal Files, is called the Delhi Files, there would be something that is not particularly charitable to the ruling dispensation in Bengal. Dr. Sen.
Yeah, the legal issue will be tackled legally, don't worry.
Okay.
But we just cannot allow BJP to spoil this cultural harmony in our state of West Bengal as they are doing in other states.
Okay. Sudhir
this is
Mishra,
for sure.
you know, again, I'm coming back to it from a filmmaker's point of view. When you're faced with such a storm, when you have some sections saying that this movie should not be released, this movie should be banned, and a state government has acted upon that, can filmmakers in this day and age turn to OTT or to YouTube, release your movies online? Because you can't ban stuff from being viewed on OTT or online. We have seen other sort of movies being released these days on OTT. I mean, a state government certainly can't ban a film if it's released on Netflix or Amazon or any other streaming platform. Would that be a sort of a, if for nothing else, some kind of an insurance cover for filmmakers?
Before that, you just asked Mr. Sudhanshu.
No,
No, I want to ask Sudhir Mishra, please.
Possible because they get a OTT release, and so I mean, because films cost money, and you need a revenue model there, you need a return on investment at least partially. So I mean, you know, yeah, OTT is one way. I don't know if I have no idea whether you can sort of monetize a film on YouTube, but that may be the future. And but why not cinema? Cinema is public spaces. What is a cinema hall? It's a public space. It's like town hall, right? It's like anything where people go to be entertained, laugh, maybe provoked, maybe educated, maybe, you know, whatever. You know, I think it's a sacred space where there shouldn't be any tax, anything, and people should come and see films, theater, performances. There should be. This is a community experience is very good. So I will go and see Kerala Story, you know, and with people on Kashmir Files, and I've seen Kashmir Files. So and I hope people go and see Appa. You know, I mean, I think the theatrical experience, at least for, I mean, OTT is brilliant, and I made films like, for instance, Serious Men on Netflix. That was only possible because that kind of film was only possible because of OTT. And because of Netflix at the budget that we made it, you know, because it required a certain budget. So, I mean, OTT is, of course, one solution and a great one. Streaming, and the quality of streaming is going up. So, I mean, very soon people will stream in houses and halls, and the community experience will come back again.
So, Sudhanshu
technology you can't beat, right?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Sudhanshu Trivedi and then Dr. Sen. Sudhanshu Trivedi, you know, this was said of Kashmir Files. This is now being said of Kerala Story as well. The states on which this subject is based, in the case of Kashmir Files, Kashmir, in the case of Kerala Story, Kerala, in those states, these movies have had no resonance, have had no, you know, popular support, but it is being made for the rest of India in a way that it demonizes sections within that state. How do you respond to that, Dr. Trivedi?
Sir, how can anybody say that Kashmir Files was not having popular support among Kashmiris? For the first time in the last 1 year, the movies have started. Otherwise, in Kashmir Valley, it was not. All movie theaters were closed. In Jammu, it is done exceedingly well. And you talk about the all Kashmiri migrant population or in various parts of the country, what they have expected and how they have expressed this thing. So that's why we are saying that it is very unfortunate that if some real thing has come out, the people try to cover up. I would like to answer what Shantanu Sen ji has said, why in our governments it is being made tax-free.
Yeah.
Why? Because this movie is giving an education to the girls and their families to be vigilant and to be very careful and strictly vigilant on whatever is happening here and there. So it is like when during your tenure, when terrorism was at rampage, in any of the railway station or the bus station or the airport or the public park, there uses to be a signboard, don't touch this, there can be an explosive. If you see any empty bag, don't touch this. It was not to create a fear, sir. It was to create a vigilance. It was to create an alertness. So that's why alertness is required to stop the further damage and distortion of the communal harmony and the expanse of terrorism, which may likely to take place.
Okay.
That's why we are doing this.
Dr. Shantanu Sen, final word. Again, I come back to this
and
point.
on one more thing I would like to add, Jaka.
Okay. Yeah, quickly, please. Yeah.
In days of technological advancement, if anybody thinks that any state government can ban, it's not possible. After few weeks, it will be available on any of the one of the OTT platform. And sir, you know, 83 crore smartphone users are there in this country. 83 crores. Broadband connections are also 83 crores. But we know that your intent is not to ban. Your intent is to just to satisfy the whims of a fundamentalist section of the Muslims.
Okay.
And you have served that purpose politically very well.
Dr.
You
Sen,
know that you cannot do it,
okay,
and your intent was also not to ban.
Dr. Sen, it comes back to this very, very limited point, but a pertinent point to this case, which is that these are stories that were hushed under the carpet because people were trying to be politically correct, or people did not want to present the other side of the story. Now suddenly it's coming out to the fore through films and other works of art, and that is making people of the left liberal class uneasy.
Prior to that, I am not ready at all to listen to a person talking about education representing a party which is totally distorting the Indian history. The party which is totally deleting the Mughal dynasty from Indian history. The party which is not allowing the students to study Charles Darwin. The party who is distorting the Indian education system as a whole. They don't have any right to speak about Indian education.
Okay.
What education you are talking about?
So move on to the question I asked you, sir, please.
Divisive politics. Are you in a mood to do politics with religion card only?
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. Dr. Shantanu Sen, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, and Sudhir Mishra, thank you very much for joining us. Let's see how this story plays out. One thing is very, very clear. This movie is a big box office success, no doubt about it. It was a small budget movie. It's made way more than what its budget was. And I think it's because of word of mouth that a lot of publicity for this film and a lot of curiosity value around this film. At the end of the day, like I said, I don't think a ban in this day and age of OTT and YouTube and other online streaming platforms, a ban necessarily works. This may have been done for other reasons, not necessarily cinematic, but we will see how this story plays out both in the movie halls as well as in the political theatre. Meanwhile, the other big story, and this one's coming from Pakistan, where former Prime Minister Imran Khan was today finally arrested in a corruption case, and that has opened the floodgates with his supporters and the PTI cadre going on a rampage across the country. In fact, these were the scenes that ensued within moments of a dramatic arrest inside the Islamabad High Court premises.
That is former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, surrounded and dragged by rangers who arrested him outside the Islamabad High Court and took him into custody in a corruption case. Khan had appeared in court to renew his bail. While he was getting his biometrics done, rangers barged in and made the arrest on the request of the National Accountability Bureau. Before appearing in court, Imran Khan had released a video message alleging that there was a plot to assassinate him.
मुझे कोई झूठ बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है। इस आदमी ने 2 दफा मुझे कत्ल करने की कोशिश की, और जब भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगी मैं ये साबित करूंगा कि ये वो आदमी था और इसके साथ एक पूरा टोला है।
Minutes after Imran Khan's arrest, his party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, alleged that their leader had been abducted from the court premises and will be tortured. PTI workers hit the streets indulging in arson, rioting and vandalism while demanding that Imran Khan be released. Imran has been implicated in more than 100 cases since his ouster from power in April 2022. His arrest is in connection with a corruption case involving the Al-Qadir University, in which his wife Bushra Bibi is also involved. Drama unfolded at the Islamabad High Court premises as the rangers on behalf of the National Accountability Bureau stormed in and picked up Imran Khan. He is now being taken away from Islamabad into Rawalpindi, where he is in custody with the NAB, the National Accountability Bureau, on charges of corruption. And this is the case, the Al-Qadir case. There are other cases of corruption too that have been now lodged against Imran Khan. It's a long legal battle. And while speaking with his supporters just before stepping out of the car to enter the court premises, he had said that I may get arrested and it is also possible that I may not see you again soon. मैं आपसे जल्द या दोबारा वापस मुखातिब ना हूँ. In March 2023, Islamabad police landed up at Imran Khan's house in Zaman Park. to arrest him in the Tosha Khana case in which Khan was accused of unlawfully selling gifts from foreign dignitaries. But the cops were met with hundreds of supporters of Imran Khan's party, the PTI. The result was a violent street battle in which Khan's supporters pelted stones and bricks and used slingshots against the police. The police hit back at the protesters, firing water cannons on them and in some cases baton charging the angry protesters. Several of them were dragged away by the police amid the clashes. Imran Khan, who was also on the receiving end of an assassination attempt in November 2022, has time and again accused Pakistani authorities of attempting to remove him from the playing field ahead of the general elections scheduled for October in Pakistan.
Now, within minutes of Imran Khan's arrest, Pakistan plunged into chaos. Supporters of the former Prime Minister hit the streets. They indulged in arson and vandalism, while things escalated when his supporters barged into the house of the corps commander, the Flagstaff House in Lahore. The vandals entered the gated premises armed with sticks and destroyed the place. Imran Khan's supporters also gathered outside the army headquarters, the GHQ in Rawalpindi, and hurled stones before breaking into the campus. This was the first time that the army headquarters was breached in the fashion that it was. The protesters raised slogans and demanded Imran Khan's release. In other parts of the country, the picture was equally grim. PTI cadre and Imran Khan supporters burnt tires, hurled stones, tore down government banners and chanted slogans against the Shahbaz Sharif government. All right, we'll be going across to Abdul Samad Yaqub, senior leader of the PTI. G. Parsati is former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan. Kamar Chima will also be joining us, strategic and political analyst. Abdul Samad Yaqub, for the first time, your party workers and supporters are targeting not so much the PDM government or Shahbaz Sharif, they're actually directly targeting the army. Today, GHQ was breached in Rawalpindi. I can't think of such an instance happening in the last 20 years. Are you now openly challenging the authority of the army to maintain law and order on the streets of Pakistan?
Well, you are right that this is the unprecedented move. I mean, things are unfolding that never had army, the institute or the buildings were vandalized the way the house of the corps commander Lahore is vandalized. So clearly, the message is clear that the workers of the PTI clearly accusing or holding responsible the army institutes. I mean. So this is a clear and evident. I mean, they do not accuse the PDM government or the ruling elite that they are behind the Imran Khan's arrest. So even today, when Imran Khan clearly accused the serving major general and the brigadier, so that definitely the workers of the PTI would follow the statement of Imran Khan. But we never wanted to.
But aren't you challenging, Mr. Yaqub, aren't you directly challenging the authority of the army, and thereby you're giving the army an opportunity to impose martial law?
Well, there are no chances of martial law at all. I mean, martial law was imposed 3 times in the past, and all of the time when the martial law was imposed, it was overwhelmed by the people of the Pakistan. Sweets were distributed, but this time it's a totally opposite situation. This is the first time that their houses are being under attack. So things are unfolding in unprecedented way.
So let me ask G. Parsati, I mean, you've served long years in Pakistan. Have you seen something like this where general headquarters gates were breached, the Lahore co-commander's house was ransacked? I mean, the army is now directly in the line of fire of a political party. Earlier, there have been differences, the long march against Musharraf, the differences, of course, Musharraf unseating Nawaz Sharif in a coup, so on and so forth. But the army being targeted in such a fashion, has this happened before in recent times?
Well, not in my time. In my time, I've seen General Musharraf stage a coup and have the elected governments thrown out. That is the normal practice. This is the first time I've seen especially in the province of Punjab, for the military to be attacked and a corps commander's house to be attacked. This is different from what has happened in the past. Based on my experience, and I've spent over 5 years there, watched a coup take place. When Musharraf wanted, he just took over. Here, I think Imran Khan is sort of, because the others are so incompetent and corrupt, People see in Imran Khan some guy who doesn't have those attributes of the others. But having said that, it's also a question of what the army will feel is its izzat.
Mm-hmm.
The present army chief, Asim Munir, was passed over and humiliated by Imran Khan.
Yeah.
And he was General Bajwa's man. And he made it by seniority and merit to the army chief. So you're going to have an army chief who doesn't particularly love Imran Khan.
Yes.
I would presume that would be true of a number of officers. But again, the situation is different because it's the first political leader I've seen, a Pathan, who enjoys support both in Punjab and in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So they all have to watch it and play it directly because I don't think even the military is going to rush in with action.
Okay.
But if Imran Khan pushes his luck too far, I mean, hitting a corps commander's house is unthinkable in Pakistani terms.
Okay, so let me
the
ask.
military will take its badra.
Kamar Chima, you know, the general view seems to be if this chaotic looting and rioting and particularly army installations being targeted, if this were to continue for another 24 to 48 hours, then it would leave the army with no choice but to, you know, use the full force at their command to A, maintain law and order on the streets of Pakistan, and B, the general consensus seems to be that this is just an invitation to impose martial law. Because for the first time, it's not the PDM or the ruling elite who are being targeted by PTI workers. It's directly the army. GHQ, the Corps Commander's house in Lahore, these are all army installations. So the authority of the army is being challenged directly.
You know what I look at the long term is that I think this is a trap for the PTI. This is a trap for the PTI workers because, for example, where the PTI workers entered into the Lahore Corps Commander's residence, that was an empty place. So obviously nobody was there on purpose. So all these men who are behind this, so obviously the military and the government, they are going to take to the task to the PTI one thing. Secondly, the important thing is that, which has exposed very badly, that right after Imran Khan, there is no second or third tier leadership, and it is just directly the mob. So nobody is leading and telling them how to protest, where to go, what to do, what not to do. So the mob is there. These are like lower class, lower middle class, maybe upper class people. Those who are on the streets, they're supporters and of Imran Khan, but they are on the streets having no agenda, not being led by the second tier or third tier, by Shah Mahmood Qureshi, Fawad Chaudhry, by such kind of a people. So it tells that after Imran, who is in charge of the party, there is no one who is in charge of the party, and you have seen that nobody from the political class, from the party, has come up on the media to speak to the workers what to do, what not to do. So I think this is another angle. But think
isn't that more dangerous when you have a mob that is not necessarily being controlled by any leaders? It just runs amok, and when it runs amok, the more it runs amok, the more it's challenging to the army to come there and you know face the long arm of the law.
Well, in reality, what I believe is that this mob and these people, they are going to disperse in maybe next 2 hours, 4 hours. This is not going to stay for longer.
Okay, so you're saying that this is an aberration.
Whether the second tier leadership of the party will survive and stay or not. If the second tier, if there is some leadership left which can take decisions, that is something I believe is important. And I foresee, I have not seen any leadership from the party. I have only seen mob ruling on the road, and they're in few cities. They are not everywhere across the country.
Okay, so Abdul Yaqub, respond to that. I mean, he's asking a direct question to your party. That after Imran Khan, it can't be left to the mob to run your party. I mean, yes, we understand sentiments, but then where is the second-rung leadership? And the more you let the mob run, the more you're playing into the hands of the army.
Well, what Kamar Chima need to understand is that this is, I mean, no second-tier leadership is, even no leader is leading these protests. People come out by their own. And this is sort of a mob mentality. I mean, when they are aggressive, they are violent. they cannot be controlled. And the problem with the establishment, or even what I am requesting Mr. Kamar Sima to understand, is that is the miscalculation. I mean, they have done a grave miscalculation, that they were not expecting the huge outcome of the people of the Pakistan. I mean, so this is the unprecedented. They were not expecting, and there is a way forward now. I mean, what is the next? The question is, what is the next? I mean, the only way forward is Imran Khan must be released immediately. He's the only person who come or deliver a video message that he has been released, and the protesters should be called off. So
No. But Mr. Yaqub, what? No. One second. First of all, he has been taken into custody in a corruption case. Pakistan prides itself as a place where the judicial process works. You can't, just because, you know, the mob has taken over the streets, you can't release a person who's been accused of corruption and serious corruption charges to be released the very next day. I mean, that doesn't particularly give a sign that this is a place where there is rule of law.
Well, I disagree here, because these cases are politically motivated cases by the driven agenda. 140 cases was filed so far against Imran Khan. There is the case of a blasphemy. There is the case of a high treason. There is the cases of the terrorism. So could you believe that Imran Khan is a terrorist, or he could commit the blasphemy? I mean, they are misusing the state power and filing the multiple cases. So even not possible for humanly, it is not possible for anyone to appear in the cases of for 140 cases in the court.
Okay.
So these are the clear...
The dilemma for the Pakistan army is clearly in the political realm. Imran Khan is by far the most popular leader in Pakistan. I mean, to the extent that today, if there were to be elections, he would win hands down. Yet at the same time, there is no love lost between him and the army. In fact, he's not named, but he has been going on television, going on social media, publicly accusing, saying that there is a major general who was the one who was plotting his assassination, so on and so forth. So I highly doubt if there will be any more love lost between the army leadership and Imran Khan. What will give in the next few days and weeks? Because this situation cannot be allowed to continue for longer, because it will just explode.
You know, whatever Imran Khan's popularity, it could not have exceeded that of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. And Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was duly hanged by General Ziaul Haq. When the military steps in Pakistan, it means business. The point here is that Imran presently enjoys substantial political support, both in Punjab and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. So, frankly, it's as bad a dilemma for General Asim Munir, who has no reason to love Imran Khan, as it is going to be for the others. Because here you have an army chief who was virtually shoved out of the office of DGISI by Imran Khan. But he was General Bajwa's man. The army wields huge powers, and especially in Punjab. But therefore, I think they will wait for a time to let this cool down. As someone was saying, how long is this middle-class crowd going to leave their businesses and come out on a strike for Imran Khan, who never has done anything great for the poor or the normal people of Pakistan? So I'd say let's stay and wait and stay and watch it, because this is different. For the first time, the army is being challenged by a person who has huge popular support both in Punjab and in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
So, Kamar Chima, I'll give you the final word, just in terms of how this is likely to play, because the matter of the election went up to the courts, and there was this tentative agreement that elections will happen in October instead of the scheduled July-August. But if things were to go like this, it's clear that the PDM does not stand a chance in that election, because Imran Khan is going to play martyr. He's already started playing martyr, and you can see the public support that is there behind him. How may the army want to step in and resolve this situation? Of course, getting hold of the law and order situation is one thing that they might in the next few days. But how do they ensure that a man with whom they have burnt their bridges, or a man who has burnt his bridges with the army, who clearly, if an election were to happen, would come back or would win, or at least be the single largest party, how do they resolve this dilemma?
Well, there are, I think, two things to look at. The first thing is that that Imran Khan has put so many. He has put his foot on so many powerful toes. He has no friend in the system. One thing. The second thing is that it depends on the people. For how long they can test, for how long they can be on the roads for Imran Khan, that will pressurize the military and the courts. So that is very important. The second thing which I understand and foresee in coming months is there is going to be an environment in the country. An environment in the country is being created that Imran Khan has no hope. He's anti-state. He's a security risk for the country. So I personally believe in coming months, if this goes down till the people start realizing that Imran Khan will not come in power, I believe that will what I believe many quarters believe that we should create this environment so that at the end of the day, Imran Khan doesn't remain the popular. But with this political rhetoric, if you believe he will come in power, I don't find things.
Okay, let's see how this plays out. And many a politician, even at the height of their popularity, have either been executed or been exiled in Pakistan. So there's a lot more to be written in this script between Imran Khan and the army. But like I said, for the very first time, the authority of the army is being challenged by workers of a political party. Army establishments are being directly targeted. You didn't see this in '99 when Mr. Musharraf, General Musharraf, carried out the coup. You didn't see this in 2007-8 when the lawyers carried out their long march. Army and its institutions were always put on a pedestal above the rest of the political class. That seems to have changed with Imran Khan and the current crisis in Pakistan. That's a wrap. I'll see you again tomorrow night.
So audacious to make that statement. And what is funny, how did they find humor in this entire issue or this entire episode is beyond me. Is gang rape of young women after indoctrination and an issue of humor? Forceful conversion and entrapment of girls so that they can be sent for international terrorist organizations and literally positioned as sex slaves. Is that an issue of humor? 3 girls is one too many, let alone 30,000.
But Smriti ji, if the problem is real, then the governments of the day have also brushed it under the carpet. There has never been a real acceptance.
There is no if. There is an NCW report of 2017 where the chairperson of the NCW and 2 committee members visited spots in Kerala and met not only affected families, victims, but also social organizations and duly submitted reports, complaints, paperwork to the DGP. The DGP or the Kerala state government cannot deny it. So there's no if this issue is real. This issue is real. This film is just a wake-up call that this issue was being spoken about in hushed tones. Can we afford it anymore?
If the fight is against terrorism, why has Bengal gone ahead and blocked it? Why is there a tacit blocking of the screening of the movie Tamil Nadu as alleged?
I have absolutely no sensible answer for that. Why would Mamata Bandyopadhyay ban a film that castigates the ISIS? Why would Mamata Bandyopadhyay stand with a terrorist organization or methodology is beyond me. That reel to reel, and the reason why I went to watch this film is that I was intrigued which part of the film would have offended a political organization or leader like Mamata Bandyopadhyay or for that matter the Congress party. Throughout the film, the enemy or the person or the organization blamed is ISIS or for that matter the Pak terror operatives. Why is Mamata Bandyopadhyay offended that Pak terror operatives or for that matter the ISIS has been highlighted in this film in bad light? I can understand if she thinks that an Indian citizen or an Indian organization that has absolutely worked within the realm of law has been debased. But the entire film is a film that stands against terror networks. Why would Mamata Bandyopadhyay or the INC for that matter stand with terror methods? There is a need now, Anand, for terrorist organizations to be met with brutal response by every political organization. There is a need now for these political organizations that are standing against the film to tell the citizens of the country why. And my appeal is, every parent, young girls, please watch it.
Smriti ji, has this movie fallen prey to this political binary of whatever the BJP proposes or supports, the opposition will oppose or dispose? Is that what we are seeing now?
I say that watch it yourself and take a decision. You can say that the NCW report is fake, but towards the end of the film, real victims speak up, literally begging for somebody in the country to listen to them. So even if you don't believe somebody like me, my appeal is go watch. Even if you don't believe somebody like me, my appeal is please Google ISIS brides. This is not a happenstance. This is not an isolated incident event or documentation or for that matter presentation of what is happening. This is an issue that governments across the world are confronted with. Security agencies across the world are confronted with. I think as an Indian, forget the fact that I belong to a political party. As a conscientious Indian, as a human being, why would you not be alarmed and outraged by this film and what it brings to the table?
The charge is
what do you seek to brush under the carpet?
The charge
Those
is that
politicians who are denouncing this film, can they denounce the victim that is seen at the end of the film? Can they denounce girls who are talking about being gang raped? Can they denounce victims who are literally begging their families to be brought back home? So every time a politician stands...
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. It's been a dramatic day in Pakistan. Imran Khan has finally been arrested and he saw it coming, even recorded video statements saying he'll be arrested. His party is crying foul. His supporters are protesting. Khan may be getting a raw deal here, but he is no hero or martyr. He was called the selected Prime Minister for a reason. He was picked by the army and now by the looks of it, he is being punished by the same army. Meanwhile, the country is running out of cash. A new report by Moody's says Pakistan will default if it doesn't get the IMF bailout next month. We'll bring you the numbers. In Russia, Victory Day parade was held to mark their win over Nazi Germany in the Second World War. In Ukraine, the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant is a ticking time bomb. Thousands of Russians are being evacuated from this region. There are warnings of a nuclear catastrophe. Meanwhile, Canada and China are fighting. They're expelling diplomats. We'll tell you what this is about. Thailand is going to polls, Italy is suffering a pasta crisis, and the gender pay gap is back in the news. The headlines first. 13 killed in Israeli airstrikes on Gaza, including 3 leaders of the Islamic Jihad militant group. More than 40 Israeli warplanes were part of the pre-dawn raid. Last week, Israel and Gaza traded missiles and rockets. Florida governor cracks down on China. Ron DeSantis signs a bill banning Chinese citizens from buying land in Florida. He's likely running for the 2024 presidential election. He's called China the quote-unquote biggest geopolitical threat to the U.S. Amid tensions with China, Taiwan holds its first training for women reservists. In January, it allowed more than 200 women to join voluntary reservist training to bolster its forces. Taiwanese men are required to do mandatory military service. Apple's pivot from China to India continues. Key supplier Foxconn buys a huge site in Bengaluru, the Indian tech hub. Like Apple, Foxconn is also looking beyond Beijing. It's a Taiwanese company and the largest maker of iPhones. Is Messi's move to Saudi Arabia a done deal? Sources say the Argentine superstar will play in Saudi next season. His contract with his current club, PSG, ends in June. Last week, the club had suspended him for an unauthorized trip to Saudi Arabia.
सारे शीशे तोड़े हैं, सब पे हमला किया है।
अपनी हकीकी आजादी के लिए सबको निकलना पड़ेगा।
It's finally happened. Imran Khan has officially been arrested. Frankly, it was just a matter of time. He has more than 100 cases against him across Pakistan. Some are linked to terrorism, some are linked to corruption. But so far, Imran Khan had escaped arrest. He was always saved by last-minute bails or his supporters. Today, it seems his luck ran out. Imran Khan was at the Islamabad High Court today. He had two separate hearings. Once he was inside the compound, the gates were blocked. Armed paratroopers arrested and whisked him away. Take a look at this. So which one of these 100-plus cases got to him? Reports say the Al-Qadir Trust case. Imran Khan and his wife are accused of misappropriating funds. How much money? Around $230 million. They're also accused of grabbing land meant for the Al-Qadir University. You get the basic idea. Of course, with Imran Khan, there is extra drama. His party leaders claim he's being tortured by authorities. Listen to this.
इमरान खान हमारी रेड लाइन है। इमरान खान इस मुल्क का पूरे आलम इस्लाम का निडर वाहिद ईमानदार लीडर है और उसने कोई गुनाह नहीं किया। उसने कोई लाखों करोड़ों अरबों रुपए लोगों के नहीं लूटे। वो कोई दौड़ के नहीं गया किसी दूसरे मुल्क में जाके बैठ गया। मैं पूरी कौम से, सब कारकुनों से और सब अवाम से, सिर्फ कारकुन नहीं, अवाम से ये डिमांड करता हूं कि आज बाहर निकलें। अगर आज हम बाहर ना निकले, ये मुल्क हमेशा के लिए इन चोरों डाकुओं के हवाले कर दिया जाएगा और दोबारा यहाँ पे कुछ सर उठा के नहीं जी सकेगा।
इस वक्त खान साहब के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा तशद्दुद कर रहे हैं, खान साहब को मार रहे हैं और आई डोंट नो कि इन्होंने खान साहब के साथ क्या कर दिया है।
Like I said, dramatic. The PTI has also released this video on social media. The man you see is supposed to be Imran Khan's lawyer. The claim is he was beaten up. But Islamabad police have rejected this claim. They've also imposed a curfew in the capital. And that's the big worry now. Imran Khan has millions of fanatic supporters. They've already started protesting. In Lahore, Imran Khan's supporters burnt tires in protest. They also ripped out government hoardings. In Karachi, key roads were blocked. If there's a showdown on the streets, things could get ugly. We saw a sample of that in the month of March. More than 10,000 police officers descended on Lahore. Their mission to arrest Imran Khan from his Zaman Park residence. But in the end, they had to pull back because Imran Khan supporters flooded the streets. If that was a trailer, this could be the full picture. But what explains the timing? Imran Khan could have been arrested any time in the last 1 year, so why is he being arrested now? Perhaps because of what he said over the weekend. Imran Khan accused Pakistan's military of trying to assassinate him. You may remember the attack in November last year. Imran Khan was shot in the leg. He now says that the ISI, or the Inter-Service Intelligence, plotted that attack. Now, in Pakistan, that's a line you do not cross. And if you do, you pay the price for it. The army, of course, has rejected these claims. They also threatened to take Imran Khan to court. That won't be necessary now, I guess. To Imran Khan's credit, he knew what was coming. Before heading to court, he recorded a video message. Take a look at this.
जब तक ये मेरे अल्फाज आप तक पहुंचेंगे, मुझे एक नाजायज केस के अंदर बंद कर दिया होगा। इससे एक चीज आप सबको वाज़ेह हो जानी चाहिए कि पाकिस्तान में जो फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैं, जो हमारे आइन हमें हुकूक देता है, जो जमहूरियत है, वो दफन हो चुकी है। मैं आज आप सबसे अपील कर रहा हूं कि आपको अपने हकूक के लिए, अपनी हकीकी आजादी के लिए सबको निकलना पड़ेगा।
So Imran Khan's plan is clear. He wants people to hit the streets, to put pressure on the government. Reminds us of Shehbaz Sharif. What's the Prime Minister up to? Shortly after the arrest, he wrote this long message on Twitter. He accused Imran Khan of maligning the army. I guess his loyalty is clear. And this goes beyond just the arrest. Imran Khan has been calling for early elections. The dates aren't out yet, but the parliament dissolves in mid-August. So legally speaking, elections must be held in Pakistan in the next few months. But this is Pakistan, so who knows? Many people have said that arresting Imran Khan would be counterproductive. It would make him a martyr, a people's champion persecuted by the deep state. It's a fair assessment, but we keep forgetting one thing. A sympathy wave matters only in a free and fair election. Maybe the army doesn't want one. If the polls are rigged, who cares what the people think? Also, let's not forget how Imran Khan came to power in the first place. He wasn't remotely popular then. He was selected for this job by the army. The same army later toppled him and installed a new government. That's Pakistani politics for you. You live by the sword, you also die by it. Imran Khan may call himself Pakistan's messiah, but no amount of PR can erase his past. As for his future, the next few days will be crucial. If Imran Khan supporters go on a rampage, we could be looking at a major crisis. Who knows? Maybe even tanks on the streets. Either way, this experience is a lesson for all civilian leaders in Pakistan because Imran Khan violated the unwritten rule of Pakistani politics. He was ousted as Prime Minister, but he refused to move on. What's more, he plotted a comeback. That's usually the sort of stuff that gets you killed in Pakistan. You could say Imran Khan's been lucky so far. He's only been arrested. Imran Khan is just one problem. An even bigger one is lurking around the corner. Pakistan could soon run out of cash. Ratings agency Moody's has sounded an alarm. They say Pakistan could soon default, meaning they won't have enough money to repay their loans. Listen to what Moody's is saying. Pakistan's financing options beyond June are highly uncertain. Without an IMF program, Pakistan could default given its very weak reserves. How weak? Pakistan has a $4.5 billion in reserves, just enough to cover 1 month of imports. So the IMF bailout is a make or break deal for Pakistan. If they get the money, they can delay the crisis. If not, they could default. What happens then? A default can send ripples across the economy. Around 140